Welcome. 1 minute, 15 seconds, one person finally turned up. So maybe I should go back and I think I mentioned flat earth. Isn't flat earth typed in here? Yeah, not much going on when you're shadow banned. One person. But yeah, there should be, there should be well over 20,000 subscribers. But, due to shadow banning. But even with 9.5 still up there, you're the only one here. I'm just making a cup of tea. I'll be back. I'm just waiting for a few numbers to turn up. They want to get into some hysterical information regarding the globe. Back in a minute. Just make you a cup of tea. I find coffee in the morning gives me a little bit of stress in the guts. Don't know what it is. Probably not good for me. So I thought I'd get a cup of tea. Look at that, eh? 3.5 minutes and you're the only one here. Mind you, it's the wrong time of the day for Americans. Where are you, David? Long Island. New York City, eh? See that post that's just popped up on TikTok or YouTube regarding Larry Steen, what's his name? Something Stein or Steen. The guy in the Twin Towers. Going on about, wow, he's got to be the most stupidest man in the world and then the most intelligent or the cleverest. Because he bought the Twin Towers or bought the lease a couple of weeks before they got dropped. What I want to know is he went to you see the insurance companies were all owned by his Zionist mates anyway, but how did he get the buildings insured for $3.5 million each when they should have known about the asbestos problem? When all the developers knew they want to stay clear of it because they knew it was going to cost more to remove the asbestos than the buildings were worth. So they'd wanted to drop them for like at least 10 years before they did. But they couldn't. The port authorities wouldn't allow them to do it because it would have damaged the retaining walls of the Hudson River that were built into the foundations. So the only way to drop them would be to disintegrate them into powder before they hit the ground. And what's the only method you could use to do that? The Americans even question the Russians about doing it because the Russians had done it, but they'd never done it in a city or commercial or, residential area. So they were laughing at them. But anyway, they dropped them, they turned to powder, didn't damage the retaining walls. So old Larry gets his billions of dollars because it doesn't affect the people who own the insurance company. It's the people who pay into them that lose. It's the people at the end of the day. And then the worldwide insurance all went up, so all the people suffer again. So these Zionists don't care about anybody. They don't care about who they murder. And they're so lucky because he never, being a hard worker like he was, being a Zionist or whatever, didn't turn up that day to work. Wow, that's amazing, because he had a dermatologist appointment. Well, who's this dermatologist, and who did an investigation on where this dermatologist was, what he was doing at that time of the day, or where was he? Then he got all the billions. So anyway, so no one's sorted that problem out, the 9/11 problem, who did it, why they did it, and all that, and hung them all on a Christmas tree. I'm talking about Christmas presents here, YouTube. Yeah, so people think the old COVID will find some sort of resolution and blame someone or some. What a joke. All the Zionist governments around the world, the Western governments, are all in on it. They're all pre-organised, and they're trying to boil it down to just pinning it on one man, or Fauci. We know he was deeply involved, but they're trying to sweep it all under the mat, collect it all into one little corner of the building, and stamp on it, and say, "Oh, it's over and done with now. He's gone to jail. He'll never go to jail. They'll make out he has, but he'll go to some fancy resort or some lovely retirement village like Mar-a-Lago or Lago, whatever they say. How do they pronounce it? Yeah. Anyway, I can't be bothered going over all this if there's only 3 people here, eh? So sorry. And even at the end of the day, after a whole week, these lives go on YouTube, and there's only a couple of hundred people see them. So I'm going to go and have a look at, give it a go on Patreon. If no one turns up there, I'll just leave it and put it straight to my not Patreon, sorry, TikTok. And if no one turns up there, I'll just put it straight to my Patreon. So let's give it a bit more time. I'm wanting at least 20 people, otherwise it's not worth my time. But it's up to you people to go and share this information, because it's just not getting out there. I don't see any sites talking about all this information that I'm sharing with the world, You turn the TikTok on or the YouTube and you get all these silly globe theorist sites. It's just a joke. All coming out of the woodwork. Nothing but Dunning-Kruger or sheer ignorance. So YouTube, I'm waiting for 20 subscribers, please. Yesterday when I mentioned 10, it all of a sudden jumped from 2 to 10 within a split second. And then once I started talking, it just dropped straight back down to 2 or 3 again. I'm about to expose something that's never been revealed before. If you weren't here yesterday, you wouldn't have grabbed it. But it's detailing a magnetic cycle that's never been explained before in 2D and 3D. But what I have to do is create a little 3D model and show how it all works. Yeah, it's freaking mind-blowing, eh? And it just proves the Earth's flat, because it can only happen with the flat Earth system. But I can't mention that in the paperwork or the wording, because, cognitive dissonance in Dunning-Kruger. just will shut everybody down, their minds down. Only flat earthers will click on. So, I mean, if I was a freak Mason, I'd get a Nobel Prize for the information I'm about to share. But, you know, well, I probably could still put a paper in to the science community. But the real guts of it all is it all concerns flat earth. They can't deny it. But at the end of the day, they will deny the paper because it involves flat earth theory. They do not want people understanding flat earth theory. They lose control of their minds. It's that simple. Which is sort of oxymoron because globe theorists don't have a mind of their own. Do they? Really? It's all Dunning-Kruger. Still waiting. Fauci just a fool guy, yep. Take that H out of Fauci and you'll be right there, bro. I shared to my big 52. Well, good on you. Better than none. I probably got less than that, even though it shows 9,500. That flat truth hurts. Yep. The land and the tax, Long Island. Yeah. Building 7 wasn't hit with EL. That's right. You don't even have to mention that, mate. But that's just the cream on the top when it comes to showing what a scam it was. Murder. Nothing but murder. You know, what's that old saying about kill one person, you're a murderer, massacre, you know, a mass of people, you're a frickin' what? I can't remember the term, phrase. You're a murderer if you murder a Zionist, but if a Zionist murders anybody, it's killing a terrorist. No, there weren't any planes involved, mate. I know that much. It's no explanation. Well, they don't, but we know. It's all detonation, of course. The old thermonuclear explosion was just blown straight up through the centre. It was buried 50 feet below the lift shaft, the centre lift shaft. And then, of course, they planted all the thermite in all the exterior, columns. Geez, you don't have to look at the steel on the columns. They're like big what are they called? I-beams, like 600 deep or deeper, by about 300 wide, every 3 feet, 900 mils. Imagine that. Can you imagine an aluminium plane going through 2 feet of solid, side on? Oh man, that's so funny, man. But you got to hand it to those Mossad, and the way they planted the explosives, and how it all went off perfectly. No wonder they're all jumping up and down on that band, going, yeah. It was freaking amazing how it all turned out, eh? You see like 4 stories of the building just disintegrating into powder, or more than 4 stories. It's about 6 or 7, a big chunk coming off the side, and before it dropped 20 meters or within 20 meters, it had all turned to dust, powder. And all those poor people that were jumping out, went stripping off their clothes because they're cooking from the inside out. Gee, I wonder what does that. If you're in a fire, you want to keep as much clothes on as possible, don't you? Yeah, that was sickening, eh? And you fell through all their stories. all the TV news, and many of us just believed it for years and years. It took me from 2001 to 2017, even though within a week, a few days of it happening, I had these Palestinian tenants, really well educated. They worked in Dubai for many years, very wealthy and very intelligent. They told me within a couple of days what had happened. And I thought you guys are bonkers. And I'm thinking, well, this is why these people don't like these Palestinians. Maybe they are a bit mad. Even though they're lovely people, I got on really well with them and I like them. I'm thinking, what? They must be a little bit mad. And no, they tried to tell me, and they sort of didn't want to push it though, because they're nice people. And I just sort of kept it in the back of my mind. And then blow me down come 2017-ish, because I've been all my YouTube sites are all conspiracy sites regarding 9/11 and all sorts of other things. So I went right down the rabbit warren after realising the truth. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, eh? And some other woman who described the effect of once she realised it made her feel sick to the guts and she had to walk out and go for a walk. Well, that's pretty much me too. I had to go outside, take these big breaths, and went for a walk up the hill and back. It was sickening, eh? It is evil. The evilest thing that's ever happened since, well, we didn't understand any other history. It was because it's all lies. We've all been lied to. And then once you realise what they did to their own people on 9/11, and you go down the rabbit warren to find out what else in history have they lied about, you discover every effing thing they have ever told us is one big effing lie. Unbelievable. And then they got the cheek to come out with the COVID thing years later. And all the dodos, they all fell for it. I bet all the people who woke up about 9/11 never took the shot. I guarantee it. Most of them were young people. God, I knew one young guy. He was only about 20. Soon as they mentioned it, he was off down the road to get his first one without even telling anybody. Then he got his next one. And then when he finally got his third one, he had to go to hospital because he got a heart palpitation. He started to get worried. He stopped then. All along, I was telling him the story, but, the young people are so brainwashed, totally ignorant. Dunning-Kruger, straight from school. Jeez. Anyway, I've only got 10 here. Shall I make a start? My cup of tea's gone. Been needing a toilet leak soon. Okay. We've got any questions here before I get going? Hello. Double indemnity. Yep. Apparently he had to go to court though, and he sued them, and he got $4.5 billion or something when he wanted $7 billion. Yep, another live. Not that anybody watches the damn things. David, Ryan, familiar names there. SJ's son. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm burping all the tea out now. Nobody in buildings when they do a controlled demo. Maybe not in building 7, they cleared that up beforehand, but not in towers, one, what do they call them? I don't know, 1 and 2. And watch Brian Staveley's research on the topic. Oh, 9/11. Oh, I know it all, mate. I don't have to watch any more now. Sure, I saw years of it. The funny thing, in 2017, when I went down the rabbit warren and my mind was completely opened to the truth, that's when I had my divine experience. And this is how it went, eh? I'm watching my, you've got all your YouTube channels all up there on the TV, YouTube sites or whatever. And I went to, that night, I realised something about the sun and the moon, some correlation between what the Mayans and the Aztecs thought about us being in our fifth cycle or something or other, and those shadows you see of those orbs we saw during the solar eclipse, and then there was one concerning the moon, and I just made this sort of connection. Thinking that's a bit weird. But I opened my mind up, and I never thought much of it. But I went to. This is like midnight. I went to bed, and I went to turn the TV off, and the fucking TV remote's gone, just disappeared. I'm sitting there right there. It's just not there. I looked everywhere, and it's just this little lounge. You can't lose the remote. I've never lost it before. It was just not there. So I had to go up to the wall and turn the TV off at the wall, at the power supply, and then went to bed. And then in the middle of the night, all this stuff happened, man. I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, I came down the next morning. There's the TV remote just sitting there on the lounge couch right there in front of you. You can't miss it. So I grabbed it to turn the TV on, and it didn't go on because I turned it off at the wall, right? So I had to go and turn it on at the wall, then come back. And I don't know if this normally happens, but all my YouTube sites had all disappeared. And what popped up were all these other sites which were all about spirituality and all the sounds and frequencies they do when they're meditating and all that stuff that I was never into, eh? It was something that reminded me of my sister, because she's out there. Nothing that I'd normally pick or associate anything to. Anyway, I thought, oh, okay, so I'm sitting there scrolling through them, wondering what the hell's going on there? What are they doing there? And up pops old Ralph with his site, which is called Infinite Waters. Go check him out. And the funny thing is, just recently, he was interviewing Santos Bonacci. And I was following Santos Bonacci at the time, when I started getting into the flat earth. Because I had Eric DeBay and all that, and Santos Bonacci and 9/11, all that stuff on my YouTube site. And anyway, and Santos mentioned on that interview that he had been following Ralph for about nearly 10 years. And that's the time where I started following him, and I think I might have mentioned him to Santos. Because I've mentioned Santos a few times. He's a bit short-witted, isn't he, really? And anyway, going back to Ralph, the title of his video is called Don't Open Your Third Eye at 3:03 in the morning, or Don't Open Your Third Eye at 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought, shit, that sounds interesting. I just went through something like this, that night before. And so I started watching the video, and blow me down, he explained the whole situation, the whole event to me. And then I realised what had happened. So then that just set me off on my journey, eh? Now I know everything to do with flat earth, because this divine event gives you according to your works. And at the time, I was investigating flat earth physics, trying to piece it all together, figure out whether this is real or not. And I thought, well, I sort of come to the conclusion after looking at all the evidence, even if Eric DeBay's 200 reasons why it's flat only boiled down to, say, 50 you could use, I still came to the conclusion that, Earth is flat, because I did my own investigation. And like they say, NASA never a specific answer, and that's exactly what goes on. They just never finish what you're wanting, what you're inquiring about. They'll never give you the full answer. they wander off onto something else, and you're thinking, hey, hang on a minute, come back here. I asked this specific question. Where's the answer? And half the time, oh, we do not know this yet. Science does not know this yet. Oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. It's all BS. And everything to do with the flat earth all made sense. So come COVID, that's been 2019, was it? We got locked down here in New Zealand. And I thought, well, I'm stuck here now. While I'm stuck here inside, I'm going to investigate, do my own research, get online and check out everything. And that's what I did. And everything was just falling into place, right down to something weird like this. I've got Santos Benassi on YouTube, right? I'm starting my new videos on YouTube explaining it and describing how the sun goes down and out to the Arctic. This is way back in 2019, mind you, way before they went down to Antarctica a couple of years ago with this final experiment BS. I'm explaining how the sun goes down and out 24/7 around the perimeter of the flat earth system. Sun, light, 24/7, and how it comes back up and in to the Arctic for 24/7. And it's all associated with the toroidal field, in and out, in and out. And the vortex, the way the vortex works, basically the internal workings of a torus field. Okay? And I thought I'd have a break, so maybe have a cup of tea or lunch or something. I walk out into the lounge, flip the TV on, there's Santos pops up straight away on the YouTube. And the first things he says is, he mentions, one way or another, down and out, up and in. Coincidental as that. That's synchronicity, man, and he's got this synchronicity thing going on. But he was describing it in his, astrophysics type way, to do with, zodiacs and stuff like that. And I wasn't really I didn't understand any of that sort of stuff at the time. But what he was saying worked exactly with what I was describing. But he's coming in from a different angle. So I thought, shit, that's bang on then. It all makes sense. And it just built from there, just got bigger and bigger. And now I know all the physics to the flat earth. The only person on earth who can explain it all, everything. So when these dumb globies come on site, ask these silly questions, I can explain it. But because it's way beyond them and their Dunning-Kruger can't handle it, they don't stop and listen because the explanations are so long because they're completely brainwashed for 10, 15 years through education. There's no way they can absorb the information, all the information, to allow them to accept that Earth is actually flat and understand everything. But, there's three basic things they have to get in their head first. Is nothing is physical. Everything is of the light, resonance and vibration, just resonating at the speed of light, which makes you think it's physical. Two, that we expand. Everything expands and contracts across the earth. Everything expands out from the center Arctic to the Antarctic and will contract back when we move north again. That none of the celestial bodies are physical. They're all individual, personal perspectives, images, which we're going to get into in this video. They're the main ones, understanding that no matter where you are on the earth, everything is relative to you, so you don't understand the expansion and contraction. So this is why anywhere in latitude, you'll get your own image of the celestial bodies on your personal arc of horizon. That was the other one, your personal arc of horizon that creates the 180-degree dome. It's a 180-degree dome of perspective at all times, no matter the declination of the sun, the seasonal changes. The dome is how you see everything. 180 degrees comes into your horizon, goes over your 180-degree dome and out again. So the images are all projections, and everything comes from the central vortex of creation. And all the ancients understood this vortex, central vortex. And just give me a minute, because I think I can show you, read you something out of an ancient or very old Bible dictionary. Hang on. I'm not sure if it's here. I think it might have read in some very old story regarding religion. But we'll have a look. Put my goggles on. We're looking up the word vortex, okay? Or you just go online and make some queries regarding the word vortex, and did the ancients think, I've got, look, Sidonic underlining. What did the ancients think about the Earth coming from a vortex, originating from a vortex? So where are we? Get in there. The flipping big, very big dictionary. What do we got here? Why didn't I underline it? So it can't have been here because I haven't underlined it. So anyway, I'll try and find it. Here's vortex. No, it wouldn't have been here then. Okay, let me read it anyway. Vortex. Okay, here. I can hardly see though. Vortex. From vortere, to turn or whirl. The form, you've got to understand, the stars whirl out into our horizon. The whole system spirals out of the centre Arctic in a golden ratio. They know this. And in celestial navigation, they call it the spider web. Okay? So when it comes to celestial navigation, they know the stars spiral out of the Arctic centre, and they call it the spider web. So imagine a spider web, but they spiral out. And then you've got the mirrored image on a southern meridian, remember? Okay, it says here, the form assumed when, say, portions of a fluid is set rotating on an axis. A whirl or circular motion of any fluid, either of water or air, forming an area of low pressure in the center of the circle, and in some instances drawing up the water or objects in its path. Eddies, whirlpools, water spouts, whirlwinds, etc. You've got to realise the centre of the vortex at the centre Arctic is the low pressure. See, we're told the Arctic's a high pressure, right? Well, they are, but in the centre, the core of the hidden vortex that's in there is very low pressure. And this is what draws the high pressure from the Arctic basin up. It's not just that though, it's because you got the plasma room temperature sun up there going around the hole. It's all metaphysical. There's no way you can get there to examine all this. You just got to understand. It's like theoretical physicists. 1 and 1 equals 2, you know. You don't have to go and build the flipping model. You just understand how it all works through known physics. So you've got the world. This is the world. It's like convection. The cold spinning up to the room temperature, because it's all spinning around the core, which is the low pressure. And this is basically the Milky Way. You got one end of the Milky Way and the other Milky Way spiraling into each other, because they're spiraling to that room temperature plasma, or you can consider they're spiraling into the low pressure, just like we can see it out here on Earth. In meteorology, you've got the winds through hydrostatics racing from the Arctics to the tropical gap. That's the low pressure. Tropics is low pressure. It's exactly the same because that's actually our realm in a duality, right? Well, you take that created realm, the 3D, put it back in the center Arctic as the 2D metaphysical. You've got the two ends of the Milky Way spiraling together to hit the black hole center, the 2D plane. Okay? And Earth is from that fixed 2D plane. So then you bring it back out to our plane, the plane of Earth, and we have the two hemispheres, left and right, with the gap between. But you go back to creation, you put it vertically. Top and bottom's coming together, spiraling together. You see all this sort of spiraling together stuff in Walter Russell's book, the Something of Light. What is it? No, it's not on the bookshelf, so I must have it in the office, reading it. The Something of Light. Yeah, okay, let me carry on reading this. Pretty hard, pretty small, and I've got no light. Got the stronger glasses on too. In here. In the Cartesian system, a collection of particles of matter forming an ether or fluid endowed with a rapid rotary motion around an axis. By means of these vortices, Descartes attempted to account for the formation of the universe. So here we go. Let's read this again. By means of these vortices, Descartes, what's that word? Descartes, attempted, Descartes, is the name of a guy, attempted to account for the formation of the universe. Investigations or of the motions of vortices, more particularly the theorems relating to vortex what's that word? Amentia, rotating round a central axis in a frictionless or perfect fluid. These words are only like about 4 mil high, and I'm half blind. Having jested the possibilities of founding on them a new form of the atomic theory. There you go. Okay. In zoology, a genus typical of the vorticide, a family of tubularians. No, that's all I need to read. Okay, so they did know, or some people knew, regarding the vortices, the vortex being the central vortex of creation. Anyway, there's only 8 people here, but I'll carry on. So the video is about how does the infinity symbol align with the globe theory? You think, well, how does that work? I mean, it makes sense with the flat earth, but how do these woolies explain it? So I asked the question online. This is the first one I got. You ask the question several times and they give you all these different angles, which is quite good. You add them all together and it makes your story sound really hilarious. The infinity-like figure 8 symbol on a globe, on a world globe, you have to put that there for propaganda purposes, is called an analemma. It directly aligns with globe theory. Over a full year, the 23.4 degree tilt of the Earth axis and the elliptical oval-shaped path of its orbit around the Sun. No, I didn't write the other bit there because I walked off and forgot to. Oh, I took a screenshot and it's on this phone now. What they're trying to tell you, I missed the good part. Did I? Yeah. The good part was the fact they're telling you that the sun speeds up and slows down. What a bunch of wallies, eh? Um, because in their system, they have the Earth spinning 360 degrees for the 24-hour daily thing. And then you've got the sun, then you've got the Earth wandering out away from the sun and coming back in as it goes around the sun over the year. So that's supposed to equate to this slowing and speeding up BS, which is total garbage. The sun never speeds up or slows down. It only rises and falls on man's arc of horizon. So you're going to have to try and do a bit of thinking here because I'm not going to explain every little thing, okay? Now, solstice. See, you get a lot of people online, especially these spiritually minded astrophysics type people telling you, we know this word means the sun stands still, right? But really, no, it doesn't. It's not for this at all. In Scripture, really, common man thinks Scripture says it's here. Okay, well, it's not. They're going to bullshit you all day long online. I want to know when they decided that this actually meant the June and December points of the year, right? And something like no, man didn't have to blah 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 because it's well known or something or other. No. In Scripture, it's basically esoteric. It's hidden. They're not going to expose the truth. So I'm going to reveal it to you. Okay, you're quite lucky. So in the flat Earth system, this is what the sun's doing. It's spiraling up, and then it's spiraling back out. And this is all connected with the pyramids, the Great Pyramid in Egypt. Okay, Cairo. That's why they're shaped like this. Okay. So time does not slow down or speed up. It just rises and lowers on your horizon. This is their so-called equation of time in the analemma. Okay, so remember that the S-curve of the analemma creates that S shape, and they call that diversion from the center line as the equation of time. But you've just got to understand that everything is a projection onto man's arc of horizon. We're going to get into that next page. So what I've got here, so there's your June solstice when the sun spirals up and in. And this is all to do with the torus field where you turn it inside out. It's all about this. Touring a donut, turning it in, or pulling it out, or turning it in, or going in and turning it out. So you get up like this, you get the moon looking this way, and then you turn inside out, and in the southern hemisphere you're seeing it upside down. It's all to do with this torus. Okay. Nothing tilts. Flat Earth, northern hemisphere only. Okay, because the south end of the meridian is mirrored. It's inverted. So instead of drawing it like this, I would draw it upside down for the southern hemisphere. Okay, we know it's all inverted, weather-wise, season-wise. Nothing tilts or speeds up and slows down. Only at the term of illumination you will find the truth, okay? So then we go on to the second page here. Why is it that the tropics, when we're talking about the solstice, okay, people talk about the solstice when the sun stands still, okay? I know it's not there because I understand. I've been given you could say the Kabbalah. What do they call it? The book, the tablets, the Kabbalah, you name it. I can read all the esoteric stories, okay? Why is it that the tropics is considered to be 47 degrees in width, but actually takes 49.5 days for the sun to reach each side. You go ask online. Ask that question. The sun's supposed to move 1 degree per day, okay? Now, people who follow me know I talk about the 5 holy days added onto the yearly cycle. That's why we don't get a 360-degree year. We get a 365-day year, plus that little bit for the sun to catch up to the stars. But that's irrelevant. We don't have to talk about that. It's the 5 holy days. There's 2.5 days. It's within Kui, okay? It's not exactly right here. Each side of the sun's analemma, where the sun and moon do not move in declination, which means it does not move to give form or shape to the analemma. It's still going around each day, but it's not moving in declination to complete that form. Okay? There's 2.5 days each side of the sun's analemma that are not counted. It's even mentioned in the Bible. These days are not to be counted. Okay? Because all of religion's all about the sun's movement. The sun leading you to the Holy Land. The sun is Christ leading man to the Holy Land. So this is why we get a couple of versions in the Bible of, say, Jesus speaking as if he is the sun moving, the man or the initiate who's gained the illumination, or they're talking about from the outside looking in about it happening or going there, the journey there or coming out, whatever, if you know what I mean. So this is one thing they can't reconcile in theology. They say it can't be both, but it is, because there's 2 aspects to it. Either the initiate, which is the Christ, or the disciple, or you could say a disciple, the initiate, and then there's the Christ, the actual object, man or son. So their answer, total bullshit. The 47-degree angle and the time it takes, this is what I was looking for, time it takes the sun to move are based on different measurements. The 47 degrees is the total angular range of the sun's path from north to south, while the days depend on how the earth speeds up and slows down. Total bullshit. There's no way. It does not do that. It's 15 degrees per hour no matter what. And it all boils down to man's arc of horizon here. Well, not exactly everything, but, you've got to realise there's man in his personal arc of horizon. He's always standing 90 degrees to zenith, no matter what. No matter what time of the year or season. Everything is seen like this. All perpendicular back to the observer. All equidistant. The sun never changes size. If you want to stay ignorant and believe all these flat-earth shills, then go ahead. But I'm telling you the truth. Even science knows this. It doesn't change size. Okay? All equidistant back to the observer. Seasonal declination. So it will drop in seasonal declination, so it'll swing around on a lower, lower degrees on your arc here. But it's still about this hemisphere. It's your personal dome you're standing under. And because everything's a projection onto it or into it, you've got to realise, it's only a projection. And it rises and lowers with the seasonal change. Man's latitude image. So depending on the man's, I wouldn't say depending, every man, this is his personal arc of horizon, anywhere on the earth, because he's on a meridian, man's arc of horizon, 180 degrees at all times, but seasonal change will rise or lower the sun's position to your horizon. You've got to understand that this is how it works, right? The sun's image can be seen at any latitude because it's all relative to the observer. Relativity. This is where Einstein and his cronies came up with all their BS. It's just plagiarized from flat Earth physics. The sun spirals out through time dilation in the Milky Way. The Milky Way is shaped like this, but on a flat plane, it's lateral. Okay, and this is basically what religion's all about, and why they put the ark in the Bible, and everyone seems to think that's the firmament. It's solid or whatever. No, it's about a time of the year when there's a perfect alignment between the two hemispheres, when the southern hemisphere cycle marries with the northern hemisphere cycle at perfect timing. There comes a time, that's what the story of Eve is all about. Even time. The whole Adam and Eve Jesus story is about this divine time of the year where the sun has led man to the Holy Land. And then it illuminates the sun within man because man is of the earth. So the sun is tucked into the Milky Way. This is how we get day and night. It's like an eye in a socket. You can't see at the back of your eye, can you? Well, that's what we're looking at night, is the bulge in the galactic center bulge is the back of the sun, okay? And it sweeps around the earth like a clock arm. Way more to it though. You've got the North Pole, the Arctic is the North Pole, the Antarctic is the North Pole. Both fields rise up and out of the Arctics. Here is the South Pole. The magnetic field comes up here and drops straight down here. Along the ground thou shalt go, and then up over the field and the beast, drop straight down to the ground, and along the ground thou shalt go. And this is the infinity symbol. Okay? The golden ratio is the Milky Way time dilation. Okay? Because one of these represents the infinite magnetic field lines across the earth, or cycles. And in a 3D, this here looks like a ploughshare. Go look what a ploughshare looks like. Okay, it's a wave. Everything in our realm is about waves, sound, waves. And sound creates its own light. Sound has light, images, colour. Okay, we've gone through that. So this is how we're led to believe that it's just moving between the tropics here in science, right? Because what they're not explaining is it's all relative to the observer. So it doesn't matter where in his arc of horizon, which latitude he's on, this is what he's seeing. Okay? He's seeing it decline in the season, go down or up. But this isn't representing that though. This is like he can see it anywhere on this. Okay? But this is his declination in the season. It just goes around. So you got to imagine it sort of going like this, lower declination, or right up to the solstice, or you know what I mean. You've got to understand this concept is personal. Every man on his, because there's the sun. No matter. These are all GP points. Drop the sun down. That's your GP point. That's where man will see the sun. Let's say at midday. Every man, wherever this wave is as it swings around the earth, there's every man's image of a sun. Just drop the GP, and every man along there will see it at that time of the day at the same time. Okay, so you've got to imagine that. There's your circle of your flat earth. You got your wave on that curve. The sun will be anywhere on that curve. Send the Arctic out to, say, Cancer. On that wave, that curving field will be the sun at all times on that one wave field that's moving around the earth. So no matter what latitude you're on this curve, that's where the sun is. We obviously don't see the Milky Way during the day, do we? No. But you'll see it at night, and that's why they say look up at night. That's the truth up there. You see it all, the Milky Way, galactic center. So every man, no matter what latitude, sees his Milky Way, and he'll see the bulge of the back of the sun at night. You've seen the same thing here during the day, but you don't see the Milky Way. Okay. Yeah. Now, I think I've missed the crux of the whole flipping video. I'm not trying to make the video. Okay, so this silly system, like I said, they have the spinning ball for your 24-hour day, and then it drifting, wandering all the way around this sun thing out there in the middle of nowhere, doing ellipses. There's no such thing as that. So they're trying to tell you that's how they form their sun's analemma. But it's easy to explain. It's simpler to explain if you understand the flat earth, because it's understanding this. So you're taking photos of the sun every day at the same time. You're getting this variation. The sun's obviously drifting out. Look, as it's coming down and out. It turns around at the December solstice to then start coming back up and in again. Okay? Now, you've got to understand the tropics. There's a gap, the dielectric gap. So then you have the system basically going like that, wider out here, relative to the northern hemisphere sort of thing. So it's showing you the central vortex of creation, because the tropics represents the central vortex of creation in our toroidal field, because there's the plane of Earth, and we only exist, everything's about up here. You forget this, you get rid of that. And there's your vortex, okay? There's the S curve in there. You got the two systems, one coming this way, one going up that way. So you have your dual system up here. There's probably a duality going down here in hell somewhere, but it doesn't concern us. When you're dead and your evil mother, you might know all about this. But up here, we're in the illumination of the light, the positive field. It's all here. So there you have it, you see. And you've got to realize it crosses over the tropical boundary of Cancer, and then has to travel, 47 degrees through the tropics. And this is what religion's all about, that 47 degrees, particularly the this here. It's all about this becoming this. Well, how does it become this? We know it moves 1 degree per day, right? Well, this here, this is what look this up in the Torah. It's the Omar, is it? The 49 or 50 days they celebrate, because the sun has made it across the tropics. That's what it's all about. For 2.5 days, the sun and moon, that's your true solstice there. Stand still. It goes around each day, but it's not moving in declination. That's what the Bible's describing. Stand still. It doesn't mean it's actually stationary. The whole Bible is about the physics of the sun moving through the sun analemma and back again. So if it doesn't move, it's not moving, then it's standing still for 2.5 days before it moves on again. But the stars keep doing their thing. So this is why that maybe not connected, but anyway, because the sun is quicker each year, it's leaving the stars behind. Each day, the stars have to fill this gap. And that's proven. It's quite well explained online, but they just can't explain the fact that the sun is actually quicker in their silly globe model. It doesn't work. But on the flat earth, it's all self-explanatory. Obviously, if the sun's quicker, there's got to be these new 3-minute 56 of stars each day filling that void. And that's why they say, the stars are quicker. Because they finished this cycle to there, I think it is. Yeah. In 3 hours 56 or something. Yeah, something like that. So over the year, this is built up. It's raced ahead so far, it nearly laps the stars, but falls short by 20 minutes. That's the 2.42 days or whatever that get added to the 365.24. So you've got 306. Everything is a one cycle. One cycle is 360 degrees. But there's the 5 holy days where the sun never moved in the analemma. So you've got to add that, because it went around each day. So you've got to count the days. Got to add the days on. This is why it comes to 365. And only the wise understand all this. It's nothing to do with the flipping globe and the ellipses. There's no ellipses involved whatsoever. That's all make-believe. Even Ptolemy, when he added that, and I don't know if he did that or he was forced to, or maybe it's just in observation. I think these wallies like Neil deGrasse Tyson and all them are slowly hinting that it's our observable statements, whatever they're saying, because they know, in fact, in reality, it's not really doing that. We just think it is. Okay? So I'm giving you the facts, not what we think it is, what is actually going on. So, what else can I say? So when they say the equation of time, that's declination, the sun just going down and out on your personal arc of horizon. Like this, going down. Like what time of the year is it? Is it way down here? This is this movement you're getting within your personal arc of horizon. And a biggie is the fact. What was I going to say? Don't know. Yeah, so just realise that. The sun. The sun we all think is here. It comes from behind us. Okay. That projection, I didn't even write in here. I thought I wrote that somewhere. Oh, there it is. Science calls Earth's magnetic mirror. They know darn well that's the mirrored image, because the projection is coming from here. It's anywhere out of here, this Milky Way. It actually comes from here. That represents the Milky Way. The pomegranate inside the pruning hook represents the sun. And you look at this and you think, wow, that's pretty close to a woman's anatomy, the female on the earth. This is why man is of the earth, because everything up there is connected to us down here. Okay? It comes out of here. These are infinite all the way around the flat earth, these magnetic field lines. And every one all the way around the south has got a pruning hook, because every one of these represents a man's meridian. Man's latitude. Okay. A meridian. I've mentioned meridian somewhere, haven't I? I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down somewhere. Can't see it now. Yeah. So man on the circular earth, pancake, pizza, is on a meridian, dead north to south, anywhere. So he's got a north end and a south end. So it depends on his latitude as to what he's getting. Sun declination, where Polaris is in relation to him. So if you could realise the image is coming from behind you within your personal arc of horizon. So your personal arc of horizon is really only three miles or less away from you. It's all to do with your eyeballs and what your brain's perceiving, or so you can actually block this image and you will not get it. or disturb the atmosphere, and that image will start wobbling. So it'll be like when it comes to the moon, I suppose it's whatever destination the moon's at when you're filming it. Because I was filming the moon one night, 8:30 at night, when a chopper came along, 8:30 at night. And it's flipping low and close because it's so loud. You can hear it in the video. And then I'm leaning on the door frame of the house. There's a 2-story concrete building and stuff. It doesn't wobble. Somebody thought the house was wobbling or the camera was wobbling. And there's the moon waving in the flipping breeze, waving in the disturbed atmosphere while the chopper was there. And then the chopper leaves and it stops waving. So it disturbed the atmosphere, but somebody, if somebody had money, they could actually keep flying around with the chopper till they blocked the view, the total image. And that chopper was within 500 meters of the ground. It might be a different story with the sun, because the sun is supposed to be a lot higher and further away than the moon. So when it comes to this arc of horizon at night, that could all just shrink right back to only a few hundred meters away from the observer, and then expands during the day, because the mirror projection is all about 3D light projection. 3D, isn't it? A mirror is 3D depth, and it's all due to light. And this is why no matter what you see on Earth, the sun will always look furthest away, because it's the brighter of the light. Everything on Earth is created by light. So if the king, which is the light, the white light, is purest, it will always sit behind every object, every item you're looking at. Well, that's the way I used to think of it. And then someone comes up with these photos of the sun sitting in the middle of the freaking cloud somewhere. But then you start getting into altitude, rise up, down, you will see further. So things start changing if you start rising up that high. So I haven't put my finger solely on that yet. So that's the guts of it. Yeah. So I didn't really get to what I was trying to get at. Funny part about the globe. Well, there's more in depth to it because of what I know about this magnetic cycle. What a magnetic cycle is. I'm about to expose it all. And this was just something that someone sent me regarding the new logo for, what was this? A ribbon with jigsaw pieces to it. Not ADH people, the other one. He sent it at quite an appropriate time. Synchronicity, actually, because it just added more fuel to my... I'm going to have to do a paper regarding the magnetic cycle. No one's ever done it or explained it before. Even Ken Wheeler or Marcio Marconi or whatever his name is. That YouTube site, they're showing you all the magnetic geometry of magnetic flux and all that. they haven't figured it out. Science certainly hasn't got it. You go online, no one's done it. No one's shown it in detail. I'm about to do it. Yeah, I was trying to make it quite obvious the difference between flat earth, sun analemma and the globe theory. But I haven't really put my finger, made it sound as good as what I had on my mind. But I've explained how it all works on the flat earth. It's, the so-called equation of time is all about the way the sun spirals up and in and down and out. One hemisphere, then you've got the other hemisphere, which is inverted. It's all thanks to the toroidal field, because you've got this inversion, this hyperboloid center. Okay, you've got to understand that, because that's how the torus field works. Out and back in again. Out Back in again. So you get your thumb upside down here, but it's up the right way here. That's what we get with the moon. And these simple globies can't even figure that one out. They've always got all these questions to flat Earth, but they don't even understand their own science. Man, you try and get them explaining how the stars drift north and back again, but then that's only for part of the year or most of the year. And then there's a period where they don't move north or south. What's holding them there, and what moved them in the first place? And why are they back there and stationary now when the globe is all, it's all symmetrical? It doesn't work. For starters, everything is asymmetrical. Magnetic field, everything. How can it be a symmetrical globe? It's total bullshit. And plus the magnetic field doesn't cross the tropics to start with, so you can't have the bullshit of the magnetic field coming out of the Antarctic and going all the way up around their ball and going in at the Arctic. Even Nigel Cheese explained that when he was talking about the globe. He says your magnetic field doesn't come out of there and go into there, over there. It comes out of here and there and goes in there. He drew it all. Exactly how it is on the flat Earth. But he's referring to the globe. I'm thinking, that's why I sort of shut off the first time I saw it, because he brought up the flipping globe. I thought, he knows, and I know what he knows. And then he brings up the flipping globe, and I'm like, oh, you idiot. So I sort of shut off then. Didn't click on to what he was doing right then, till a couple of years later when someone sent the video back to me, and I saw it. Oh my God, he's showing it. Anyway, that's enough for today. Try and share it to anyone. Tell anyone to get over there and have a look at it on my YouTube. It stays on YouTube. That's why I like YouTube better than TikTok, because they don't put my lives up. I don't know if it's something to do with me or what. I don't know. Whether I'm supposed to push some buttons. So yeah. So look, it's down to only 4 people watching all this discussion about flat Earth and that. Only 4 people latching on. Weird, eh? I don't really follow anybody. I don't need to, mate, because I know it all. I mean, it sounds a bit big-headed, but they don't know what I know. I don't, little things get me thinking, but they're all just attached to what I already know. They might help me explain it better. Yeah. But I do watch. I don't know why. I end up watching these stupid talkbacks, and not for long though, because they just drive you nuts. Because you can't explain it in 5 minutes to them, and they only have attention spans of 5 minutes. Not even that. So, like I say, there's those 4 or 5 main things they need to understand. Nothing is physical. Nothing on Earth is physical, especially in the celestial bodies. They're all projections, holographic projections. 2, expansion and contraction. We'll expand and contract as we move across the Earth, back and forth. We're only physical because of the speed of light, resonance and vibration. And we have our own personal arc of horizon. Everything comes into the horizon, goes over the horizon, down your horizon, out of your horizon. It's quite obvious when you're filming celestially. You've got one camera side by side, one doing star trails, one doing time lapse. So the time lapse is showing you the star traveling across the sky, continuing east, while star trailing is showing you the star come into that rotation, go around over your arc of horizon, and then disappear. If you can get the flipping thing running long enough. They don't do that rotation. Rotation's only there due to the fact there's a vortex back at the centre, or where it's come from, whether you're in the north or the south. It's all coming out of the Arctics, Antarctic and the Arctic. Because those stars we see in the southern hemisphere revolve all the way around the flat Earth. to come back to the same place. Okay? So it's all relative, like they say, relativity, because, you know, every latitude is all equidistant. Every arc of longitude is equidistant over time between the arcs. And this is why you need to stick to the one arc. That's what they call the Great Circle. It's the sun staying on that arc, east to west, because that time is all equal. Okay? If you start drifting across that arc, then you're changing directions. The cardinal directions are changing. That direct curve, north to west, stick to that exact same time. As soon as you start going backwards and forwards, crossing it, you're altering one, time, and two, the cardinal directions. How are you going to program that into a flight if you're going to start flying around the globe, you know, around the flat Earth like that? It just doesn't work. That's why they call it the Great Circle. Stick to the Great Circle. They're trying to tell you that Great Circle goes over their hump of a ball when you're flying laterally in that longer course. They call it, you can think of it as longer, but you just got to understand it's time expansion, time dilation. And it's all curvature. The latitudes, curving. Magnetic fields are curving. Your arc of horizons, curving. So all because of this, the magnetic field, they tell you live on a ball. Because you're only seeing half at a time, you see. Yeah. Another interesting one on the dictionary here. Vossor. You can hardly see it. They're showing you the arc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 being the top. Oh, that's interesting. The 6th hour, you know, the 6th day of creation. You got to realize Peter turned to stone. It's all to do with the stone archways, because the old doors were all arcs, arc of horizons, archways, Noah's Ark, Jonah's Ark. They're all telling the same story regarding their arc and their alignment at the zenith. It's got the 6th hour here, 6th. That's all to do with Revelation 666, you realise. No one knows the truth about that. Only I've revealed that. I've given a couple of versions of it, actually, because everything usually boils down to a trinity anyway. Anyway, good talking to you. Thanks for